Regret. What are we to do with you? Seemed to hint that my place in the family was impermanent. Too young to understand the real reasons, I wondered what was wrong with me to make me so unwanted. Was I too short? I wasn't as tall as my friend Sunny, but not nearly so short as her sister Lotus. Was I too plain? I spent hours squinting into the mirror, judging my every feature, and found them wanting. My eyes were set too close together, my nose was too small, or maybe it was too big. My lips were thin, my ears flat. It was clear to see, I was plain and unlovely. No wonder my parents regretted my birth. In truth, my father was merely old-fashioned and conservative, a strict adherent to Confucian ideals, one of which was the inherent precedence of man over woman. The wife must regard her husband as heavenly. What he does is a heavenly act, and she can only follow him. I was a girl. I would eventually marry and become part of someone else's family. As such, my existence was simply not of the same consequence as that of my 3 brothers, who would carry on the family line and provide for our parents when they became old. But I knew none of this when I was young, and instead decided it was due to the shape of my nose or the color of my eyes, and for years to come I would fret over and find fault with the girl who looked back at me from the mirror. I have traveled far from the land of my birth, and even farther from who I was then. More than 40 years and 4,000 miles separate us. The girl of 16 who took that first unwitting step forward, and the woman in her 60th year who now, inside of the vast Pacific, presumes to memorialize this journey in mere words. It is a journey measured not in time or distance, but in the breadth of one's soul and the struggle of becoming. Westerners count their age by the number of years completed on their birthdays, but in Korea, one's personal age is determined differently. A newborn child is said to be already in its first year of life, and thus is deemed to be 1 year old at birth. I was born in the year of the rooster, roughly corresponding to the Western year 1897. And upon the next Lunar New Year in 1898, I turned 2. In 1899, I was 3, and so forth. This sounds confusing, I know, so hereafter, when speaking of ages, I shall do so according to Western reckoning. My early life was typically Korean, at least for Koreans of a certain rank. Our family was Yangban. We belonged to the country gentry and lived in a fine house with a tiled roof in a little village called Pojoge, not far from the city of Daegu in Gyeongsang Province. Pojoge means dimple, and the village, mostly houses of mud and stone, their roofs thatched with rice grass, rested in a dimple of land surrounded by rolling hills. In winter, these hills were draped in snow, but when I was very small, my eldest brother, Joyful Day, revealed to me that their white shawls were actually made of rice, the most delicious in all the land. They're called the Rice Mountains, he explained solemnly, and people come from all over the kingdom to gather grains to plant their own rice paddies. Why, wars have even been fought over that rice. I used to beg him to take me there, but he would just smile and shake his head. The best tasting rice in the world shouldn't be eaten so early in a person's life, he would say, but saved for later. What kind of rice grows in winter? I asked once, upon reaching the worldly age of 5. His reply, winter rice, of course. This sounded eminently logical, and I continued to believe in the legend of the Rice Mountains for longer than I care to admit. Mine were good brothers, 2 older, 1 younger, and for the first 6 years of my life, we played together, up and down the twisting banks of Dragon Tail Stream, along the entire